Well, I guess I'm gonna be broke for the rest of my life. Same. It's over.
Good God, you guys just love sitting around feeling bad for yourselves.
Actually, we don't. It sucks.
What's your credit score?
Credit score? It's like a gamer score, but your life depends on it. Bro, I have $10 to my name. Who cares about some fake number?
You should care if you ever want to buy a house.
A house? What? We're never gonna own houses, man.
Gen Z is the laziest generation of all time. They don't care about anything other than scrolling on their phones all day, hooking up, and going to bars every weekend. That's what we've been told time and time again. Meanwhile, you did everything you were told to do. You went to school, you got your degree, and you checked every box along the way. And there's been nothing to show for it. You're stuck refreshing boxes on job applications on Indeed and LinkedIn. And after your 300th application, you've still got no interviews. We were promised that hard work equals success. We were told that if you just keep grinding, your time will come. But to this day, that time still hasn't come for most of us. And finally, we're waking up that this thing could have been rigged from the start. No one in our generation can afford a home, and the average person is struggling to even afford rent.
All right, buddy. Your rent's due. Jesus, it's bright in here. No wonder the light bill's so goddamn high. While you're doing this stupid original Paratimes video, you got evicted, motherfucker. Give me my money.
I only have $5.
These $5 will buy me another bottle. And don't backtalk me, boy. Otherwise, I'll upcharge your rent.
Man, that guy's an asshole, dude.
What'd you say to me, boy? You best take it back. I swear to God. I'll hit you with my belt, boy. Capitalism is God's gift to man. Being a landlord is the best goddamn job in the world. Subscribe.
One of the biggest issues that I've seen among Gen Z as a whole is burnout. Burnout used to be something that happened years into the workforce, but now it's hitting people before they even get hired. The thing is, we watch our parents work themselves to death. They miss birthdays, they skip dinners with their kids, and then at the end of the day, they just come home looking broken. And we were told growing up at a young age that this is noble. But as a whole, Gen Z doesn't want to live like that. They saw all the issues that came about working a typical 9-to-5 like their parents did. They've seen how it aged them, how it makes them feel empty, and they learned early on that sacrificing your life for a paycheck isn't a badge of honor like it used to be. Burnout is baked into the system now. It's not something you escape with a weekend off or an office pizza party. And it's been wired into our expectations since school. It started with the deadlines and then the debt, and then the pressure to succeed in a system that's already rigged against you from the start. And by the time you graduate, you're not excited to get into the workforce. If anything, you're just exhausted and you want a couple years to breathe for once. And you always hear that Gen Z is lazy. After seeing previous generations work their entire lives, Gen Z has realized that work shouldn't cost your health, your family, or your peace. The thing is, all of this started shifting with the rise of remote work. There was no more commuting, no more pretending to look busy, and no more of the office politics. It all came down to just waking up, getting your work done, and going about your life. Gen Z saw how quickly work could be done differently. We're thinking, why are we pretending this 9-to-5 schedule makes sense? Also, why are we judged by how long we sit at a desk instead of what we actually produce? And when the answer has always came back as, this is the way that it's always done, people no longer have that trust. The thing is, Gen Z doesn't hate working and they don't hate structure. We just hate being treated like robots. And showing up in person in an office doesn't make sense if it doesn't produce any sort of higher quality work. A lot of my generation feels like it's just a waste of time if the job doesn't really need it or require it. They realize the typical lifestyle that we've been taught growing up doesn't apply to us anymore. We can't afford a house, we can't afford to go to college or get a good paying job without going into electrical engineering. And it feels like even just in general, a degree doesn't mean anything anymore. People used to tell you that a college degree was your golden ticket. Now the reality is for most people is that they're graduating with 5 figures of debt. And then they end up working a job that doesn't even require a degree just to survive. Meanwhile, someone with no college degree makes more money live streaming themselves playing video games. And then you start to wonder what the hell was all of this even for? Some people feel like they've wasted 4 years of their life and can't even get an entry-level position. But now it feels like a college degree is the equivalent of a high school diploma. I mean, there's really no guaranteed rate of return on your investment investment. Why would I spend 4 years of my life and 50 grand to learn something that doesn't even guarantee me a job? One of the craziest things that I saw whenever I graduated and was on the job search is that people with master's degrees were struggling to even get entry-level positions. If you're going to school for 6 years and taking up tens of thousands of dollars worth of debt and you can't even get an entry-level pay, I feel like the system is broken at that point. And for Gen Z, since it has been so difficult to live and afford rent, even with a college degree, a lot more people have been picking up side hustles and investing in gigs. I'm talking about DoorDash, Uber, Instacart. I mean, you get to be your own boss, set your own hours, and work whenever you want. But the truth is, most gig workers aren't doing it for freedom. They were originally side hustles, but now it feels like they're just more survival jobs. What's not talked about enough is that they're on their own with taxes. They also have to pay their own healthcare, and if something goes wrong with their car or anything else, they're just screwed. What used to be something that was flexibility or a nice way to make some side cash whenever you were outside of your regular job has turned into more of a risk than anything else. And the companies behind these love it because it saves them money. They have no benefits to pay for them, no overhead, and they have no responsibility if something goes wrong with all these people working behind their company. And it's like, I've had a lot of friends who have done the whole DoorDash thing. They've told me time and time again, even after a full week of working, after all of the expenses of gas and travel and time, they're pretty much just breaking even. And one of the things I hear time and time again whenever it comes to the newest generation is that nobody wants to work. That is not true, and I feel like a better way to word it is that nobody wants to work for nothing. It's like, if you have the choice, why would anyone choose to break their backs for a job that doesn't even pay the bills? Things have changed since our parents' and grandparents' generations. Entry-level jobs require experience. Minimum wage doesn't even cover minimal living. And it's just so frustrating trying to get a new job after constantly scrolling on LinkedIn or Indeed, constantly getting no callbacks or rejections on your applications. And it's reached the point where there are so many applicants for jobs that recruiters can't even physically look through all of the applications themselves anymore. They use AI to scan for keywords, and from there use AI to interview the people that they found the best qualifications for. I feel like most people are just frustrated that they follow the template that they were told to do, and nothing ended up working out in their favor. Meanwhile, we got all of the kids with a camera and Wi-Fi who make more money in a month than your entire department will this year. And I feel like do what you love turned into do what pays the bills because you have to survive because the rent is due. And the thing is, a lot of Gen Z don't really want to work in the typical work environments that their parents or grandparents grew up in. There is so much extra BS to deal with whenever you go into an in-person office or just job in general. Think about all of the micromanagers, the passive-aggressive emails, the coworkers who like to clock watch you, and it just feels like everyone is overworked and underpaid whenever they go into a physical office. And the moment you push back, they label you as not a team player. The reason why Gen Z is choosing to opt out of this lifestyle is because they're sick of being emotionally manipulated and working for someone else with no end goal in mind. I feel like we've all dealt with bad managers in the past. And I don't know about you, but I feel like they can ruin an entire workplace. The real issue that I realized is whenever I started leaving a workplace feeling more drained than fulfilled, I realized it was time for me to get a different job. And the thing about our generation that is different than others before us is that we're no longer loyal to companies, especially if they treat you like trash. At the end of the day, Gen Z doesn't want to work for just a paycheck anymore. They want to provide genuine purpose and value to the world. We don't want to live just for the weekend. I think that Gen Z wants to believe that their time means something, that the effort that they're putting something into is actually greater than they are. And they want to feel more than just like some sort of labor that can be replaced in a spreadsheet. But the thing is, most jobs don't offer that. Instead, it's all just pointless office meetings, policies that are useless and don't make any sense, and an occasional pizza slice or donut in the office to stop you from quitting your job. But the thing is, people want to care, but most jobs punish caring. As I've entered the real world and the workforce, I've noticed that a lot of jobs don't want you having a side hustle. Especially corporate jobs, they actually discourage you from doing any sort of work outside of the time with them. And that's encouraging a lot more people to find something else that is real. It's like our generation is more inclined to go out and take the risk, do something that doesn't pay as well at first, with the hope at some point that's going to pay off. But it's still better than feeling like a slow death in a soulless corporate hellhole. And it's not just Gen Z, it's not just remote work, it's not just burnout, it's everything combined together. The entire economy as a whole has been built that demands constant hustle but gives nothing back. And then it blames the people who can't keep up. The housing market is broken, healthcare is a scam, wages are frozen, and college can be a debt trap for a lot of people. But when people say, I don't want to live like this, the response is always the same: you're just lazy. And as so many more people are encouraged to become entrepreneurs or content creators or start their own business of some sort out of the regular corporate 9-to-5 life, I feel like a lot of Gen Z is just done settling for a life that was never designed to work for them in the first place. I feel like every time an older generation says, well, you're just lazy, your generation doesn't know how to work anymore, maybe there's a deeper reason for that. Maybe it's because everyone feels like they're underpaid, they're burnt out, or they even might feel anxious, and maybe it's not a personal problem. The original template that we were brought up believing is the right way to live doesn't work anymore. And Gen Z as a generation is the first to finally realize that and do something about it. But let me know what you guys think. Do you really believe that Gen Z is just lazy? Did all of the brain rot and doom scrolling really get to our heads? Or do you feel like people have just given up on the typical dream that has been sold to us by our parents and grandparents? And if you like content like this, feel free to check out some of the other videos on my channel that are similar to this one. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.